Hello and good day. In this presentation, we are going to talk about optimizing CPU performance, scheduling, and multi-threading in action.
Good day, everyone. My name is Marisa Ibinetes, and today I'm going to discuss to you about CPU scheduling. So, what is CPU scheduling all about? It is the process kung saan nagdi-decide ang operating system kung aling process sa ready queue ang gagamitin ng CPU next. Ang main goal nito is to maximize system efficiency, meaning hindi nasasayang ang CPU time. Ginagawa ito ng system by switching between processes para maraming tasks ang napoprocess and mas gumaganda ang overall performance nito. So here are the scheduling algorithms. First come first serve or FCFS, shortest job first or SJF, priority scheduling, and lastly is round robin. So paano nga ba gumagana ang first come first serve? Ang processes ay ini-execute based sa pagkakasunod-sunod ng pagdating nila sa ready queue. Kung sino ang unang dumating, siya ang unang gagamitin ng CPU. Ang type ng first come first serve is non-preemptive, which is once na nabigay ng CPU sa isang process, tuloy-tuloy na siya hanggang matapos or walang interruption. Advantage is simple at madaling i-implement, fair dahil sinusunod ang order ng arrival at walang inuuna kahit sino. Ang disadvantage naman nito is may tinatawag na convoy effect. Kapag may long process sa uunahan, lahat ng short processes sa likod ay maghihintay, kaya tumataas ang average waiting time at bumabagal ang system. Next is shortest job first or SJF. Paano nga ito gumagana? Pinipili naman ng system yung process na may pinakamaikling CPU burst time para siya ang ma-execute next. Type naman nito is non-preemptive, meaning kapag nagsimula ng process, tuloy-tuloy hanggang matapos. Advantage is pinaka-efficient sa pag-minimize ng average waiting time. Disadvantage naman is possible ang starvation or yung mga long processes pwedeng matagal bago ma-execute. Mahirap i-predict ang exact CPU burst time ng bawat process. Priority scheduling. So, how does it work? Sa bawat process ay may assigned priority. Ang CPU ay binibigay sa process na may pinakamataas na priority. Type niya is preemptive or non-preemptive. Preemptive is pwedeng ma-interrupt ang current process kapag may dumating na mas mataas ang priority. Non-preemptive, hihintayin muna matapos ang current process bago palitan. Advantage is nasusupport ang iba't ibang levels of importance tulad ng real-time at system processes na kailangang mauna. Ang disadvantage naman nito is possible ang starvation. Yung mga low priority processes pwedeng hindi na ma-execute. Lastly, round robin. Dito naman sa round robin, bawat process ay binibigyan ng fixed time na tinatawag na time quantum. Kapag hindi pa tapos ang process after ng time na yon, ilalagay siya sa likod ng ready queue at papalitan ng next process. Type niya is preemptive or non-preemptive. Preemptive, automatic na puputol ang process kapag naubos ang time quantum. Advantage is maganda ang response time, fair dahil lahat ng process may chance mag-execute, ideal para sa interactive or time-sharing systems, and disadvantage niya is mas mataas ang average turnaround time kumpara sa SJF. Nakadepende din ang performance sa size ng time quantum.
So basically, these concepts are all about how processes behave inside a computer system, especially in CPU scheduling. First, waiting time. Second, turnaround time. The third one is response time. And the last is throughput. First, waiting time. This is the time a process just sits in ready queue doing nothing, waiting for its turn to be executed by the CPU. Think of it like lining up at a cashier and you're ready but you still have to wait. So the longer the queue or the slower the system, the higher the time And we want this to be as low as possible so process don't just sit around. Next is turnaround time. This one is the total time from when a process arrives until it completely finishes. So it includes everything, waiting time, execution time, and any delays. If we go back to the cashier example, turnaround time is a form that the moment you enter the line until you leave the store after paying, it basically measures how long a task takes overall. Then we have response time. This is the bit different. It's the time from when a process arrives until it gets its first response from the CPU, not when it finishes, just when it starts. This is the super important in interactive system like when you click something on your phone or computer you don't want to wait too long before something happens. Even if the full task take longer, a quick response makes the system feel fast. Lastly, throughput. This is about how many processes the system can complete in a given amount of time. So instead of focusing on one process, it looks at overall system performance. Higher throughput means the system is handling over tasks efficiently, like a cashier serving many customers quickly.
So this is an example of CPU scheduling for first come first serve. Let's take a look of this table. Processor 1 will start from 5 units of time, that's from 0 to 5, and processor 2 will start next and run for 3 units of time from 5 to 8, and processor 3 will run last, executing for 8 units from 8 to 16. To better understand, let's take a look of this chart for each processor. First processor will run 5 units of time until it finish, and then second processor will start next and run for 3 units of time, which is equivalent to 8, until it's done. And then the last processor will proceed. Third processor run last, executing 8 units of time, which will be equivalent to 16 completion time. Using the formula for turnaround time and waiting time, processor 1, 2, and 3 will have a turnaround time of 5, 8, 16, and waiting time of 0, 5, 8. And that's how you compute a first come first serve CPU scheduling.
So, good morning, everyone. So, we're going to tackle what is multi-threading. Multi-threading is a technique where a process is divided into small execution units called threads that runs concurrently. Threads within the same process share memory space, file handles, and other resources. Next is process versus thread. Process is an independent program in execution, has its own memory space that code, data stack, heap, and operates separately from other processes considered heavyweight due to higher resources usage. And thread is the smallest unit of execution within a process, shares the same memory and resources with other threads in the same process. Known as lightweight, multiple threads can exist inside one process. Next is benefits of multi-threading. First is responsiveness. Multi-threading keeps applications responsive even if one part is by or blocked, busy or blocked. Example, a program can still respond to user input while processing data in the background. Second, resources sharing. Threads within the same process share memory and resources, which makes communication faster and easier, data sharing more efficient and compared to processes. Third is economy. Threads are more lightweight than processes. So we have a three: faster to create, faster to switch. Context switching uses fewer system resources. Fourth is better CPU utilizations. Multi-threading allows systems, especially those with multiple processors, cores to execute multiple threads in parallel, maximize CPU usage, and improve overall system performance.
Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss the types of multi-threading, an important concept in operating systems that allows a single process to run multiple sequences of execution. This improves system efficiency, speed, and overall performance. There are two main categories of threads: user-level threads and kernel-level threads. User-level threads are managed by libraries running in the user space, so from the operating system's perspective, it only sees and recognizes one single process. On the other hand, kernel-level threads are managed directly by the operating system itself. Each thread has its own dedicated structure within the kernel, giving the system direct control over how they operate. Now, to understand how these two types of work together, we look at the three common mapping models that connect user threads to kernel threads: the many-to-many model, the many-to-one model, and the one-to-one model. First is the many-to-many models. Here, multiple user-level threads are mapped to the same or a smaller number of kernel-level threads. This model combines the best features of the others. It allows developers to create many threads easily at the user level, while also letting kernel manage tasks effectively across different processes and system resources. Next is the many-to-one model. As the name suggests, it maps many user-level threads to just one single kernel-level thread. A key advantage here is that managing threads is fast and efficient, since it happens entirely in user space. However, it has a major limitation. If one thread makes a blocking call or encounters an issue at the kernel level, the entire process will stop running because the system only sees one active thread. Then we have the one-to-one model. In this setup, every single user-level thread is mapped to its own separate kernel level. This model offers better performance as the threads can run in parallel, especially on systems with multiple processors. But the trade-off is that it requires more system resources, since creating and managing a larger number of kernel threads adds more work and overhead for the operating system. So, to sum up, understanding these types and models helps us choose the right approach based on what a system needs and what resources are available.
So now let's talk about the applications of multi-threading in real-world scenarios. First one is the transaction processing, which is widely used in banking and online payments and also mobile recharges. And next one is web and internet applications like threads handle multiple clients requests at the same time. It improves also the responsiveness and efficiency of online platforms. The third one is banking and financial systems like online fund transfers, balance updates, and background verification tasks run in parallel. It also prevents the bottlenecks during high traffic, like salary credits or sales. And the last one is the telecom and recharge services, which multiple recharge or service requests are processed concurrently. It ensures quick response and smooth functioning for millions of users.